wrapping up our show by embarrassing ourselves. That's probably how this is going to go. We're going to welcome in Stephen Kogan, who runs a site called Chuckle for Charity. And the point basically is they make really entertaining videos that give you a laugh, but also raise money for charity. And Stephen, who is a lifelong Commanders fan, thought it'd be really fun to reach out to us and have the chuckles be at our expense by giving us some Commanders trivia. That's my version of how this is going down, Stephen. If you would like to give a far more eloquent description of what you're trying to do here, be our guest.
I don't know if I can be more eloquent than that. That pretty much summed it up. But yeah, that's what it is. Chuckle for Charity. It's a site designed to raise money for charities just by people watching entertaining videos. We'll do it through whether people sponsor individual videos, like if somebody, Exxon, wanted to sponsor this video, they could send a check directly to whatever charity they wanted to send it to, or we're going to eventually raise money via YouTube monetization. But that's the goal. That's the goal, raising money for charities just by people watching entertaining videos.
Love it. So they can go to youtube.com/@chuckleforcharity. Is that where they subscribe?
Yeah, or just chuckleforcharity.com. It'll take them straight there.
Excellent. All right, so that's where you go if you want to help out the cause, which you're going to help out by watching entertaining videos. Who doesn't want to be entertained and do good at the same time? We love that. And so, Logan, are you ready? Are you mentally prepared to try to? We don't know how hard these questions are going to be. We don't know they're going to be history. Like we don't know what they're going to be. We just know it's Commanders trivia.
I'm not ready. Trivia is always like one of those really humbling things. You're like, oh man, I got this. Like I'm a pretty smart guy. And then you go to like the bar and you're like, man, I don't know anything about anything. So
yeah,
this will be a fun experiment for sure.
It is like that. Most of them are Commanders trivia. I did throw, I think, at least one NFL trivia question in there.
Okay. All right. So we got 7 questions from Stephen here, and what we've done, we've created our own scoring rubric so that we can try to win. Is basically how this works. To borrow from the old great show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Everything's made up and the points don't matter, but winning matters to us. So we're gonna make each question worth 2 points, and then on some of these questions, there's like kind of mini follow-ups, tiebreaker type of things that will make worth 1 point. And so if we can get above 50%, we wind up somewhere, or a little bit above 50%. We wind up somewhere around 10 points. So 14 total plus the bonus is the max score here. We're going to try to get 10 points, 2 questions per correct answer. Logan and I are going to work as a team, in part because we don't have like a whiteboard or anything to compete against each other. We're just going to totally be transparent here. And also because we might need the brain power to get these. All right, Stephen, that's our setup. Let's go. First question on you, sir.
All right, let's go. First, before we start, the charity that we're going to be playing for
yes, very important.
JUDE'S Children's Hospital. We'll put a link in the description box. You can go there and learn more about them. If you don't know about them already, you can donate to them if you want. So a wonderful charity, and we like linking to them a lot because they do such a great job. All right, are we ready for some questions?
We are. I will give the 15-second version of what St. Jude does for those that don't know. St. Jude provides cancer care for children at no cost. So if you have a child who gets diagnosed with cancer, they get flown to, and you along with them, of course, get flown to St. Jude in Tennessee, and they will care for your child. Some of the best medical care in the world, and it is all at no cost because when your child gets cancer, having to pay for it should be the last thing you have to worry about. Rich Eisen and the NFL Network have done amazing work with them over the years, amongst others. So happy to play for St. Jude and embarrass ourselves for the kids at St. Jude. All right, Stephen, let's go.
All worth it. All for a good cause. All right, are we ready for this first question?
Let's do it.
This one's a little bit tougher to get the brain synapses going. All right. As a Washington quarterback, so only as a playing for Washington, whether it was the Skins, football team, or Commanders, who threw for more passing yards, Kirk Cousins or the combination of RG3, Alex Smith, and Sam Howell?
Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
It's got to be Kirk Cousins.
I think it's Kirk.
I'm
just trying to think Alex only had like half a season. Sam threw for like 4K last year, but I know that Kirk had 2 4,000-yard seasons. One was almost 5,000, and he had 3 years as a starter. So it's definitely Cousins.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Kirk.
There you go. 1 for 1. It was actually pretty close how close the numbers
were. What's the actual number?
It's 16,206 for Kirk, and the combination of the other three, 15,974. So
wow. Yeah, because I guess Robert had a couple of years worth. So they would have had more seasons. But yeah.
And I was going to go with Heineke, but he kind of threw the other the group bunch way too high. So I
Right.
stuck with it. So you're 1 for 1, and I thought that was a tougher one. So look, hey,
Yeah. Well, good.
you
Thank
guys are
God.
acing this already. Although I wouldn't get cocky, but hey, you're doing well.
Trust me, Stephen, we're not.
This one I thought might be a little easier, and one of you may actually have played in the game we're going to be referencing. So
It's definitely me.
yes,
Yeah. You.
I would
Yeah.
not guess you, but hey, someone at home might agree. What player did RG3 throw his first touchdown pass to? And since you both may get that, who was it against? Which team was it against? And how many yards was it for? So kind of a 3-in-1.
Was it Pierre Garçon, New Orleans, 2012? I think it was. Was it 80 yards? It was something like that. It was like 78 yards, something like that.
We got 2 out of 3. Do you want to?
Yeah, Craig, let's phone a friend. Do you remember what it was? It was that long. It was drift, right? It was drift.
Logan knows the concept.
Right, and then he comes across the field. He hurt his ankle on the play because the guy tipped his heel, right? And as he ran in, I think it was it shorter than that? It was a long play, though.
Yeah, I think you got it right, and you're close enough. Do you want to guess a number though? You're a little low on the number. It's a little bit
Low?
higher.
86.
88.
88.
Yeah!
There we go. Look at that.
Nice.
2 for 2. All right, I'm gonna throw in another. What I thought. No, this one.
Hold on, Logan, were you on the field for that play, or were you on the
No,
sideline?
I was
for
not
that
on the
play?
field. That was when like Fred Davis was really rolling. But I remember being on the sideline, being like, "Wow, that's pretty cool. Good job, Robert."
Yeah, I felt that same way. All right. So speaking of Pierre Garçon, who has had more receiving touchdowns as a Washington team player? Again, only their Washington stats. Pierre Garçon or Terry McLaurin? They both played 5 years for the team so far.
In 14, Terry led the league in receiving with 115 receptions, I think. So I'm
mean,
assuming
Pierre.
he was a bigger feature of the offense. But I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Terry
the
hasn't
scoring.
had any monster TD years. Like, he's been solid, but he hasn't had like a 10 touchdown year, I don't even think. Nevertheless, something greater than that. And he's been on some really bad scoring offenses. So finding the end zone in general during Terry's time, through no fault of Terry's, hasn't been a strength. It was for sections of when Pierre was here. I would guess Garçon.
Yeah, so would I. That's my guess, Pierre.
Sorry, that one is incorrect. My guess
What's
as
the
well.
touchdowns?
He had Pierre Garçon had 21 touchdowns. Terry has had 25.
Oh, wow.
So
Good
they
job,
add up.
Terry,
It's like
huh?
6 here, 5 here, 4 here for
Yeah.
Terry, and they add up. And Pierre had 37 total through his career, but only 21 with the Skins. So, all right. So you got the first 2 right. That's that one. we'll
That's
throw that one
something,
away.
right?
Yeah.
All right, we're still on track for our arbitrary 10-point line of victory.
Yeah. This one's a recent question.
Okay.
Who led the Commanders in sacks last year?
Oh, that was
Sacks.
Sweat.
That is
Sweat still. He led both the Bears and the Commanders in sacks last year.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Good job, Montez.
How many did he get for the Commanders? That isn't part of the question, but that's just like let's
I
call
believe it was 8,
No, it's 5 or 6, isn't it? I think
6
it was
and a half.
5. Then
a 6.5.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So this one, Logan, you may have a bit of an advantage for because it happens to deal with your buddy, Mr. Fred Smoot. But I don't know if that helps you or not. He's kind of shy and quiet. Maybe he's never talked to so we'll see. Who had more interceptions when they played for, again, the Washington franchise? Fred
London
Smoot
Fletcher.
or Champ Bailey?
Oh, I was going to say. I know. I love to give Fred. Okay, this is a little peek behind the curtain. Every time they're together, Fred and London Fletcher, Fletcher just say, "How many picks did you have?" And I think it's like 23 or something like that. And Fletcher's like 37. And so like it's just a constant thing with those guys. Anyway, I would say, how long did Champ play here? Craig, do you know?
I don't think it was that.
But he had a
long.
couple seasons where I remember looking it up, he had like a 5 interception year, a 4 interception year. I think he had like a couple 2s and 3s. gonna say our guy Fred Smoot with the old 20 whatever, but that might be career. That might be career interceptions that he's citing there, which would throw a wrench in the plan here. So,
how many years did Smoot play here?
Well, he
Quite a
played
number.
5 or 6 because he had 3 in Minnesota and then he came back. He played for 9, so 6 I think here. So,
yeah, he had the 2 stints. I love how the tag teaming of the brain power is going.
It still doesn't come up with an answer.
I think so.
I feel like Smoot, like in a trivia setting. Now I'm going game theory here, right?
Yeah.
The logical answer is the Hall of Famer. So you go the other way. With all due respect to Smoot, right? But like Champ Bailey is one of the 5 greatest corners ever. So why would you put Smoot versus Champ if the answer wasn't Smoot?
Just because
I'm going to say
funny.
Smoot.
Just because it's
All
funny.
right.
Yeah, I'm going to say Smoot too for the same reason.
Yeah, I told you there would be a trick question in here. The answer is they tied with 18.
Oh,
So
my gosh.
I have a
How many?
tiebreaker.
Okay.
How many?
They both had 18 with Washington. So
I probably
the
could have just
tiebreaker
mathed
is,
that out, actually.
who had
That's a
more
bummer.
interceptions between Fred Smoot and Sammy Baugh, the Shohei Ohtani of his day? He quarterback, punter, and he played defense. So
Here?
Fred Smoot versus Sammy Baugh.
I know Sammy Baugh has more. We gave Fred shit about this like 2 days ago.
Sammy Baugh.
Because we were rating quarterbacks. We were rating Washington quarterbacks. And he has a bunch. It's like 30. It's like 40 or something. It's like, how many interceptions is it?
He had 31.
Yeah, 31.
Which is
And
also
so-
incredible because they didn't throw the ball that much in his time.
No.
Yeah.
And to play both ways and do that, it's
And that was my argument for why he's the best quarterback, because he has more interceptions than Fred as the quarterback.
I'm guessing Fred
Fantastic.
didn't agree. But
No, he did not. I mean, surprise, surprise, Fred did not agree.
That's amazing.
all right, but you get that point that you got the tiebreaker. So
There
All
we
right,
go.
we'll take it. So what are we up to? 5 points now?
yeah,
I believe so. I think we got 2 correct answers plus 1 random tiebreaker, even though we didn't get
I
the.
think you got 4 correct. I believe you only missed 1 out of the 5.
Look at us.
Okay,
So
I'll take it.
You're sailing
Math is-
past
Math
whatever.
has never been my strong suit.
We're well on our way, and the points don't matter, so we're just going to
Yeah.
kind of keep rolling.
Yeah, you're doing really well. So here's a general NFL question: who led the NFL in passing yards last year?
I think it wound up being Mahomes, but I might also be thinking of passing attempts because we were tracking. Like Howell was leading the league in yardage for a long time, but then he had December happen, and on that front, I also know that Mahomes finished with 1 more attempt than Howell, which kept Sam from being the guy who got dropped back to pass more than anyone else in the league, despite the fact that he was him as a rookie behind that O-line, which was perhaps talked about on this podcast through the lens of the play caller at some point. The guys that come to mind, Logan, Pat, Tua, because they threw the ball like crazy in Miami. Trying to think who else.
I was going to say Josh Allen was the other one that I was thinking of.
Yeah, Josh had a big
Allen,
year.
Um,
But also like guys that didn't miss games.
Matthew Stafford would be another one. Just I don't think it is because they had so many rushing attempts in LA last year.
Yeah, like Detroit. I mean, Goff should be up there. St. Brown had 1,500 yards receiving on his own, but I think they run the ball too much.
We're forgetting somebody though.
As
What was
probably,
CJ
are we,
where was
have
where
we,
was CJ
Steven, have we said the right answer yet?
You have said the right answer. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say Mahomes.
I'm going to say Josh
Is that
Allen.
both of your final answer?
No, it
No,
can't
this
be
is where we
Patrick Mahomes,
diverge.
man.
This is
It
where we
can't be
diverge. I'm going Mahomes. Logan's going Allen or someone else. And
And
now
the
we're at
answer-
No,
war.
okay, but we have to come to a consensus though, right, Craig? Like, why do you think
No.
it's Mahomes?
Because he is better than everyone and threw the
I
ball
know,
more than
but
everyone.
like, I think he
The
threw for
volume
this.
game.
I think Dak Prescott had more passing yards than him last year. Yards.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's Josh Allen.
All right, Josh Allen.
All right, both good guesses, both wrong. It was Tua.
Oh
Damn
no!
Mahomes actually had a down year. He wasn't even in the top 3, and no one was actually near 5,000. Jared Goff came in second, Dak came in third, and Tua had 4,624 to lead the league.
Man, Tua.
So it was. You mentioned Tua. I thought you were going to stick on him once you mentioned they throw the ball a lot.
I talked you out
went
of
away
it. I
from
talked you out of it, Craig.
Yeah. Well, you always talk me out of Mahomes more, and yeah.
I tried.
All right.
Mahomes is
that was a
always a
tough
good
one.
guess for that. But
Yeah, if it's quarterback adjacent, just say Pat, and
Yeah.
who's going to get mad at you for saying Pat? All right,
Usually
I think
that'll be
this
right.
is the last one we have here.
This is the last one we have. All right, let's end it on a high note. Who has more career sacks? The combination of Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, or the combination of Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong?
Total.
Yeah,
Like
for their
not
career.
like a Washington
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Well, the Armstrong
One's
and
at
Fowler
zero.
have
Well, I know
zero.
they just
Washington.
got here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a weird question. I just want to make sure we're
Yeah,
global.
as in their careers, who has more combined sacks?
Fowler's been around for a while and has had some big sack seasons. Duran also had 11 2 years ago.
I know, but Fowler's had like 15 when he wasn't he in LA? Didn't he have like 15 when he was in LA?
He had a big year in LA. He had a couple pretty solid years in Jacksonville. I would say it's Fowler and Armstrong. Although Armstrong's a pretty young player still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like John's
But like
average
outside,
about 8 a year, right?
yeah.
8 a year.
But Duran probably has averaged almost that. But he had like the one big year and then was super down. Like he had at one
But there's
point.
been a couple years where Duran's had a sack. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right. Which is funny because like his pass rush win rate has been fairly consistent and his sack numbers have been wildly inconsistent.
right.
I'm going to say
Which
Fowler.
is
or
why
Armstrong.
this is like a little nerdy, but that's why that's the more important metric when looking at defensive linemen. Anyway, here we go. Back to this fun game we're playing.
Fowler Armstrong.
Fowler Armstrong.
Fowler Armstrong. The answer is no. It's very close, separated by a half a sack.
Oh.
Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne combined for 69. Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong combined for 68 and a half.
Wow.
Jonathan Allen has 39. Daron Payne has 30. Dante Fowler 45. Dorrance Armstrong 23 and a half. So
Dude, that's more for Duran than I thought. What'd you say? It was 30?
30.
You said?
30, according to ESPN stats, if they're correct.
I'm curious if we
look
looked up the PFF stats because PFF counts them differently.
which is weird. Weird
Yeah.
bit by PFF. Anyway.
It is a weird bit. They're like, we do our own stats. I'm like, okay, cool.
Sacks is a weird stat to change too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems very obvious, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was awesome, man. This was
Yeah,
really fun.
this is great.
Chuckleforcharity.com. We're playing today for St. Jude, so you can go and donate there and make sure that you then click over to their YouTube and subscribe. The back end of this is that like if they hit monetization on YouTube, then just by people watching without even the donations, they generate money, which is awesome. Which is a really, really great thing. That's really, really easy, and hopefully some of these videos can catch on and just start spinning cash in charitable directions. So make sure that you go to chuckleforcharity.com, donate, and then click over to the YouTube and subscribe and spend some time. Just turn the videos on in the background and then go do your choice. Just like let the views rack up. I may or may not have done that on my own. I didn't just admit that out loud, did I?
Have you done that?
Stephen
Craig,
Kogan.
Come on.
I'm not.
All right.
I'm not. I plead the filth. It's a Chappelle Show reference, in case anybody doesn't know. Steven, this was great. Thank you, sir. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you guys doing this. Definitely. It was fun.
And we'll see everybody next week back here on Take Command when training camp starts. Yeah, that's really next week.